So this frame, I found it in a thrift shop and I thought that looks like a window, so it might be good for a sea glass mosaic, but it's kind of ugly. And I thought, oh, I can paint it up. Maybe I can make it into something pretty. What you won't believe about this one, however, is how really small it is. So the glass in this measures 4.5 inches by 3 inches, and the small glass is 2 inches by 3 inches. So really tiny. So it's going to be a bit of a challenge to use really small pieces of sea glass and create a sea glass mosaic, but it's got potential. So I'm going to give this one a shot. So a couple of coats of white paint and this looks lovely. It just looks like a miniature window, just like I was wanting. So what I did was I flipped it over. I put the glass into the frame. So it was a 5-inch by 7-inch piece of glass. And I used my adhesive caulk, my quick seal adhesive caulk, and I ran a bead of this all the way around the edge. It went on white. It dries clear. And I just waited for that to set. I knew it was set once it was clear, and then I can just flip it over, the glass stays in place, and I can work by magic on here. Now the other thing I want to do before I start my piece is I've got my Scotch tape here. I want to put a line of tape across here because I want the horizon line to be just above the little board there. So I'm putting a piece of tape there so that I've got a nice straight line that I can see from the front of the glass to follow when I'm doing the horizon line, because this is going to be like I'm looking out the window at a lighthouse and a beach scene. So what I'm going to do is put my lighthouse in place. When you are working small, you use small sea glass. So I have these miniature squares of sea glass that I'm going to line up to make my lighthouse. And then I've got some of the lighthouse coming above the window frame, and I have this amazing red triangular piece that's going to be the top of my lighthouse. And then I'm going to have a sailboat out in the water. This is a beautiful piece of pottery with blue etching on it, or blue paint on it, and a piece of brown sea glass for the base of the sailboat. And then I've got some petrified wood. This is stuff I find quite a bit at the beach. It's wood that has fossilized, and it's like a rock, but it's all sparkly and everything because of the way it's fossilized, and I love it. I collect quite a bit of it at the beach. So I'm going to put 3 of those pieces at the foreground of my little mosaic here so that it'll give some perspective. So the lighthouse is really small, so it means it shows it's off in the distance, and the pieces of wood are like at the foreground, so it makes it feel like that's up close. And then I'm going to use a few tiny, tiny pieces of blue sea glass for birds in the sky. And this adds a tiny bit of blue to my piece, a tiny bit of red, some interest, you know, something a bit different. I might pick out a few shells to put down here as well. And then I'm going to fill in with brown sea glass. I'm going to create some foreground and some land for the lighthouse to be sitting on. And then I'll fill in the water with green. So I've got a tray of miniature green sea glass. And then I've got my tray of white sea glass to fill in the sky. So I really hope you enjoy seeing how I create this miniature mosaic on a little frame that looks like a miniature window.